Minister of Health gives an update on vaccines for the country. The tourism minister optimistic as mega resorts are set to reopen and a customs officer finds himself on the wrong side of the law. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lissy Bastian. It's Tuesday, December 8th. It's good having you with us. The government is currently in direct negotiations with several international pharmaceutical companies, which include Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca, who have produced COVID-19 vaccines. Now this, according to Health Minister Renwood Wells, who shared this information with the media just ahead of the weekly cabinet meeting.
We didn't reach out to them. Interestingly enough, they've reached out to us. We're doing our due diligence as a nation. The Prime Minister is actually leading the charge on that. You would have heard the Prime Minister say on Sunday that whatever vaccine it is we do get, he could be first in line to take the shot. And so we want the Bahamian people to know that whenever it is we secure and procure the vaccine, we want them to take it. We're not going to be bringing anything in that's going to have a deleterious effect on our people. We are not going to do that.
Now, the government has put a down payment through the World Health Organization, a total of $250,000 for 80,000 doses of whatever vaccine is approved.
There's a global commitment and agreement among all countries that through the WHO we will purchase vaccines up to 20% of our population number. So whatever 20% of your population is, that is what all countries have agreed in the first tranche that they are going to vaccinate. So, and that gives every country the opportunity to be able to get the vaccine. That is why there was that global agreement.
Minister Wells breaks down the ministry's plans if Pfizer is the vaccine of choice.
No, the Bahamas government, we would have developed a vaccine strategy, a logistic, strategic plan to deploy the vaccine in the Bahamas. The Ministry of Health developed that strategy, whether it's Pfizer or Moderna. If it is Pfizer, the 1.6 is simply just getting the vaccine. We have to put out probably an additional, the overall plan I think calls for about somewhere in the area, maybe $4.5 million, because we're going to need to be able to purchase the freezer equipment, because you've got to keep Pfizer vaccine at -80 degrees. We are also looking with the Ministry of Works to be able to source the kind of equipment, because we're going to need to store it in country. So we need to be able to get the kind of freezer. So the engineers at the Ministry of Works is working on the HVAC, the heating, ventilation, air conditioning system that would be necessary to hold that kind of vaccine.
The minister stresses that the government's policy is that they will not force anyone who does not want to take the vaccine to do so. After one day of no COVID-19 cases in the country, health officials on Monday reported one additional case of the virus following 215 tests completed. That one additional case is here on New Providence. The case, a male, pushes the total in country to 7,580. Active cases tally at 1,335, and with 19 recoveries on Monday, recovered cases now stand at 6,022. 13 cases are hospitalized, 12 moderately ill, and 1 in the intensive care unit at Doctors Hospital. Now, of the 215 tests completed, 204 came back with negative results, 6 were repeated tests, and 4 results were deemed inconclusive. 44,972 tests have been completed to date. With several mega resorts such as Atlantis Paradise Island and Bahama set to reopen in the coming days, Tourism Minister Dionisio D. Aguilar, just ahead of the weekly cabinet meeting, expressed his relief as the country's tourism product is slowly rebounding.
Absolutely. The tourism industry is beginning to reopen. We start with Atlantis on the 10th, Bahama on the 17th, the Hilton on the 15th. Notwithstanding there have been some hotels already open during this whole time, like the Ocean Club and the Marriott downtown have been operating through this entire pandemic. But it is indeed delightful that these major properties are opening and thousands upon thousands of Bahamians are being called back to work. So this is really a watershed moment. It's great, it's wonderful, and we got to really make it work. And we have to ensure that the foreign visitors, when they come here, have an exceptional experience, and we really get our the engines and the cogs of our tourism industry back to work.
With the Bahamas seeing a decline in COVID-19 numbers and our neighbors in the north is seeing an increase, when asked if he is concerned about the increasing numbers in the United States, Minister Diagla says this.
Of course I'm concerned. I mean, everybody turns on the television every night. They see the volume of people coming through the door. They see the cases. They see the deaths. It is very concerning, but we are hopeful that our protocols that are in place have been doing a fairly good job thus far. Our numbers are down. I think people are getting a little slack, so people have to double down, wear your masks, do what you have to do in order to stay safe.
Overall, the minister says it's delightful that tourism is rebounding. However, he says that Bahamians still have work to do in this COVID-19 climate to ensure that tourists have a good time when they come to our country. In news from the courts, a customs officer finding himself on the wrong side of the law. Today, 30-year-old Flamingo Road resident Marco Smith Jr. stood before Deputy Chief Magistrate Andrew Forbes on firearm charges. He was charged with 1 count of possession of an unlicensed firearm. The details, according to court documents, are that on December 5th, while in New Providence, Smith was found in possession of a black Springfield Armory XDS pistol, while not being a holder of a special license. The defendant pleaded not guilty, bail was denied, and Deputy Chief Magistrate Forbes advised Smith that he has the right to apply for bail at the Supreme Court. Meantime, he has been remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until his trial begins on March 18, 2021. You're watching JCN News. When we return, hear what one Free National Movement MP has to say about his party, and students may be able to return to face-to-face learning by February 2021. Stay with us.